Hey, what's going on everybody? My name is Jay and welcome to The Ship Life. So we have some breaking news pertaining to two NCL cruise ships. The first one being the NCL Joy. Unfortunately, the NCL Joy is having some issues that has caused them to miss their last port over in Cozumel, Mexico, and now head home. We also got to talk about the saga that is currently taking place on board the NCL Escape. As most of you know, the NCL Escape had some trouble recently. They ran aground, meaning they hit land and they unfortunately had to cancel their sailing and their future sailing. Now we have passengers stuck on board for a very big reason. This is going to be a lesson that a lot of people are going to learn from. So stick around and let's go ahead and get into it. So first, let's briefly talk about what's going on with the NCL Joy. There's not a ton of information available so far, but the basic information is out, and it is unfortunate for the people that are currently sailing on that ship. So, per announcement that the captain made to the passengers on board the NCL Joy, apparently this ship is suffering some propulsion issues. Now, we don't know if this ship can't go anywhere. Maybe it's just not reaching its top speed, which is probably the most likely scenario. But unfortunately, the sailing on the NCL Joy that's taking place right now had to cancel its last port of call of Cozumel, and they are now heading back to their home port over in Miami, Florida. Now, the last time we saw something like this was toward the end of last year, 2021, in December, with the Carnival Horizon. They suffered some propulsion issues where they couldn't go to their top speed, and inevitably, the Carnival Horizon ended up being out of service for almost a month. They had to take the ship over to a dry dock over in Europe, and then it came back. By the way, there is an issue going on with the Carnival Horizon right now. I just put a video up. Unfortunately, there was somebody that went overboard. I'll leave a link to the videos up here in case you guys want to check them out. Anyway, when it comes to the NCL Joy situation, thankfully it's not a situation where somebody could be hurt, or it's not exactly a tragic situation. It's just extremely unfortunate, and I do hope the passengers that have been on board the NCL Joy have enjoyed their cruise for the most part, because when it does come to the port of calls, when it comes to the cruising industry, basically the way it works is when you book a cruise, it's kind of put out there in the fine print during the contract that you basically electronically sign, is that if you miss a port of call, technically the cruise lines don't have to do much for you. Now, NCL might do something, might give you some future cruise credit, or they'll comp you somewhere, but who knows at this point in time. There is also the added chance that the next sailing taking place on March 19th could also get canceled. Like I said, if you look back to what happened with the Carnival Horizon with their propulsion issues, propulsion is obviously a big deal when it comes to cruising because, well, the cruise ship has to get from point A to point B to point C, however many ports of call that they're actually going to. So yeah, let's just see what happens. Either way, if anybody happens to be on the Carnival Horizon, or maybe you're on the next sailing, you're a little worried, or you have concerns, let me know in the comment section below. So now let's move on and talk about what's going on with the NCL Escape saga. Now, this story has been dragging out for about a week or so, and unfortunately for some passengers, well, things have gotten a little worse. So you had the NCL Escape that departed Port Canaveral, Florida on Saturday, March 12th. Now, 2 days later, they ran aground over in Dominican Republic. This is on the 14th, this past Monday, and they ended up being stuck over there. Pretty much they struck land, stuck there for about 24 hours until the high tide came around 12:45 a.m. that next morning on Tuesday. They thought they were going to be able to continue on with their cruise, but they were kind of concerned. Captain Giovanni, he's the captain of the NCL Escape, so he decided to go over to the pier, the port over in Dominican Republic, to assess the damage and see if there was anything wrong. Now, there are reports surfacing that apparently there was some issues over with the hull, pretty much the bottom of the ship where the ship actually hit when it ran aground. So just for safety and out of an abundance of safety, they decided that they were going to stay there, and inevitably they ended up canceling not only the current cruise but the next cruise, which I believe takes place on the 19th of this month, and now they are flying all the passengers home. But the process with all of this is hitting a little bit of a snag. So what NCL came out and announced was that when it came to the passengers that booked directly through NCL, they were just going to outright fly them home to wherever they needed to go from the Dominican Republic, and everybody else that booked maybe by themselves and separately, they were going to fly them back over to Orlando on a private charter, and from there they can make all their travel arrangements, cancellations, stuff of that nature. But now we have a situation, because this is something that a lot of people talk about when it comes to cruising. You have people that did not cruise with a passport because they necessarily by law do not have to. When you look at cruising, it is known as something called a closed circuit cruise or closed circuit traveling. In this particular case, a ship ship, in this case the NCL Escape, leaves from the United States, Port Canaveral, and then they go somewhere. They go to a couple little ports, islands, technically other countries, but they end up coming back over to said country, meaning they don't have to have a passport with them. They don't have to get a stamp, nothing like that. But the problem is, whenever there's an emergency such as this, where they have to depart the ship and go home by another method back to Port Canaveral, Orlando, wherever it is that they call home, now you have the issue of where they have to now go through the U.S. Embassy, something like that, in order to get home. But now, at this point in time, or at the time you're recording this video, you have the passengers. I believe there was about 3,200 total. Now, I don't know what percentage of that doesn't have their passport. I'm assuming there might be a small percentage, but for those people, they are not letting them off the ship. The government over in Dominican Republic and the staffing and captain at NCL, they are not letting the people that do not have actual passports off the ship because they are deciding what to do with them, because they can't just outright let them go home, simply for the fact that they don't have their passport. So let this be a lesson to everybody. Go get your passport. It's not free, obviously, but you pay like $150 unless things have changed in the last 10 years. Worth it, right? You wait about a month or so, you get your passport, and worst case scenario, you have a second ID for 10 years. And of course, there's the added benefit of being able to travel all over the world. It's to me like a no-brainer to not have it, or to have a passport rather. But you know, you have these people that maybe they don't really think about these kind of things, and that's kind of like an American mindset, and I'm generalizing here, but most Americans don't really travel as much as other parts of the world when you compare them. Over in Europe, it's something that's kind of normal. It's like the status quo. People over there, they kind of live to travel for the most part. Over in America, usually people might travel domestically, or they'll take a cruise in which they only need to provide a birth certificate. But again, you see where this problem is. Anyway, guys, I don't want to ramble on. I will let all of you know as soon as there is an update. I'm trying to kind of dig and see what's going on. As most of you know, I am a former crew member. I used to work on board the NCL Escape. I have a lot of friends that are currently on board as entertainers and maitre d's, waiters, what have you, all over the NCL Escape. So that's all the more reason for you guys to hit that subscribe button, because I have plenty of updates coming for you in the not so distant future. I'm almost at 100K as well. I'm about 1,000 subscribers or less away, and I'm trying to do it by this weekend. Fingers crossed. We'll see what happens, guys. But just know that I appreciate every single one of you. Of course, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit that like button on your way out, and I'll see all of you very soon. Take it easy.